Pecku bedne naplno, tak nech to hraje kulo. Môj tok numero uno, kedy ťa prevádzuje ako sumo. Není som kulo, ale mudar do Mulano stylo. Sužer ma vychutnána ako gyros. Na dobré veci, brachu, ja mám určite do prínos. Som vači kráľ jak Minos. Mulano stylo, to je čistý prínos. Jebal som 20 piča Karolčino. Charizmu vaču.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Path 3D Tutorials. And if you haven't already, do check out our website, which is www.yummy.com. We're gonna have free downloads and stuff on there soon. So at the moment, this is what it looks like, but we're still fixing it up and stuff. And all the tutorials on the actual website, they're all gonna be updated soon. So we're gonna have everything on there, so you can just watch the tutorials, you know, as we continue making these episodes. And just to let you guys know, we are gonna have Joomla episodes soon, so I'll be teaching you guys how to set up your own website, such as I done right here. Teach you everything from beginning to the end with like a website with a login. But let's get back to this now. In this episode, we'll be looking at how to set up basic lights in 3ds Max. Now, if we look at 3ds Max, okay, and we look at the sidebar here, the modifier panel, we can see that if we click on create, and we've got lights right here. If we click on lights, we've got photometric lights, okay, then we've got standard lights, and because I've installed a plugin called V-Ray, I've got V-Ray lights. But I won't go into V-Ray now. I'm just going to go into the photometric lights, and I'm just going to create a box, okay. I'm just going to create a box, and let's say I create a wall at the back like this. I can actually create a wall. Oops, don't want to select the box, just a wall. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna create a copy of the wall first. Let me just snap the angles. Create the copy of the wall of 90 degrees. I'm just gonna clone that right here. I'm gonna take this cube, make it a bit smaller, drag it in. Okay, and I'm just gonna make a plain floor. Now for this tutorial, I'm just gonna add quick few materials. So I'm just gonna add the floor. I'm gonna make the block blue. Sorry, I'm gonna make the block blue. I'm gonna make it a bit glossy, like so, and I'm going to clone that over. So I just hold shift and drag it over. I can just clone the material. Just got to change the color of it to about green and make the walls green, and just rename it whatever. Okay, didn't change the green, so let's just change it to green. Okay, now if we render this, this is what we get. Remember, we're not using any lights in our scene, so this is what we're getting right now. There's no lights, nothing. Okay, now I'm just gonna clone this over once more, actually, like right here, and then maybe do one copy over here just for the sake of testing. So you can see we've got no shadows, nothing in this example right here. Now you can see that if I were to put lights in here, let me just view the actual save frames. You can just press Shift and F. This is what's being actually rendered. This is this resolution that I'm rendering in, so it's easy to work around with and better for me. Okay, now let's say, okay, I'm just going to put press Control and C, and if I'm in the perspective mode, it will create a camera. See, I'm in camera now. If I actually press Control and Z, I delete that. You can see that I'm actually in perspective mode right now. So if I press T, I'm top. P, go to the perspective. Okay, I zoom in. I'm in perspective mode. If I hold Control and press C, I can create a camera. If I press P again, I can see I've got a camera in the scene, which is automatically inserted as soon as I press that Control and C to insert that camera. If I want to go to this camera, I can actually click on this perspective, cameras and cameras 1, or I can just simply press C and go into the camera. Now that I'm in a camera, okay, I can just go out. I can always render the scene from the same viewport, so it saves me time. If I want to render it, press C and then Control and Q, Shift and Q to render. Just a few shortcuts that I'll let you guys know, as well as rendering. But okay, let's go back to the light now. So hopefully I taught you a few basics there. Now if we look at target light, when you create target light, it will change the exposure controls and stuff. Okay, so would you like to change this now? Actually, let's click no. Let's not put in the target light yet. Let's go back to the basics of standard light. First of all, what we want to look at is standard 3ds Max lights. What we've got is a target spot. If we use a target spot, we can create a target spot, let's say from there. Okay, let's go from the left view and create a target spot from the left, like so. Now if we go back to the camera, light's coming in from the left, as we can see, so we should get shadows on the right, on the left side. Now you can see that the spotlight is working, but there's no shadows. Now if you want to get the shadows, what you need to do is click on the actual light, click on modifier, and then go to the settings. Now this is always where you will find the settings in the modifier panel, and you can see shadows here. If you just turn the shadows on and leave it on shadow map, click C again, go to the camera and render that, okay, we should see some shadows now. You can see that we've got shadows coming off of the boxes. Now it's starting to look a bit more, 3D-ish. Now let's say we can play around with the color intensity and stuff, so we can make it a bit darker, and we can do whatever we want to reach the style we're trying to achieve. Now this settings that you have on the side here is that you have a spotlight paramount, so you can show the cone, circle or rectangle. Do you want a rectangle spotlight or a circle spotlight? Advanced effects, you can actually add effects to the actual light and use them, but you can actually add contrast and soften the images. So we can soften the edges, soften the edges a bit. So it's like you can see it's a bit soft around the edges around here, nice and soft. And the softer we go, the softer it looks. You can't really see that much difference anyway, but yeah. As we go down, we got atmosphere and effect. We can actually add atmosphere to this, so we can add an lens effect. Click on OK. We can click on setup, and let's say we can add the glow and the ring. Okay, now if you click on glow and go down, you can actually change the glow paramount and settings of how you want it, the ring effect, and simply click. You can just turn it off. It's in there already. So if we actually click on render that now, okay, camera, and render that now, what we'll see is lens effect, arrow, unexpected, C buffer channel, transparency. Okay, fair enough. Let's just go back into that and let's take the ring off. And if we leave the glow in there, if I take the thing from here, watch this, and I'll just render that. You can see the glow is in there. Okay, I'm just going to ignore that arrow, but you can see I've got a glow where that light is. You can see the effect of the beams. Okay, I'm getting an error on here. I'm not sure why. Okay, but I would fix it, but I haven't got time at the moment to do a quick tutorial. Anyway, the error's not affecting the render anyhow, so it's fine. It's running okay. It's just I've got a transparency or something. I wasn't even bothered to read it. But you've got a lot of effects in here, guys. Okay, manual, secondary, a star. You can create like a star or something. I haven't even used that. In fact, let's just see what that is. we might get an error again because of the cone. We usually use effects on a bitmap unexpected CG buffer transparency. Must be a transparency or something that I'm using, but you can see that is a really crazy star actually. Let's just leave that. But yeah, these are the effects you can add to the actual light itself, but I'm just going to remove that. I don't want any effect, so I'm just going to remove that light as well. Now that's one of the lights you can use. There's a free spotlight which you can just basically place in the actual scene, and it's like a spotlight from the sky, and you can see this is how it looks, and you can place it anywhere you want and make it big as you want. But the real settings for making how big the intensity and stuff you want is right here. So let's say we select we want it to start, we can actually click on show, so you can move it up and down, and you can see that little green thing moving up and down. That's where the light will actually start, kind of thing. So let's decay will start. Okay, so let's say we start the decay from around here, then we can set the light to be about this big. We got the light straight from the side, so let's say we make it a bit move it like that, let's say. Okay, now if we go to the C camera, we can see if we click the render, we're getting a light from a different side now, still using something like a spotlight, but this one hasn't got all the same effects like the other one had. Actually it has, I'm not even sure, but the shadows are on there as well, which is very important. Now I'm not going to use view or any other shadows, I'm just going to use the shadow map for now. You can actually use global settings depending on what you're using for your global settings for your shadows, but we'll look more into that later on. Right now we can change the light in the scene if you can't be able to delete it, just by clicking on in this drop down, make it directional, which means you're actually making it a directional light. This is what we use in architecture quite a lot actually. And an omni light, we use directional light to stimulate the sun a lot, which is very helpful. If we want to get that white walls and stuff, we stimulate directional light going through the windows, and what happens is the directional light goes through the windows, and then we put another light inside the window to stimulate the light perfectly as we want it inside the room. So this is a very useful light that you come across quite a lot for making stimulating the sun. Okay, the directional light, and usually you set the light to go straight through the window to the floor, and it will just beam off. But for now, okay, Omnilight is what we use quite a lot in simple 3D, 3D modeling. As you can see, it's pretty cool, gives us a cool effect. But I'm gonna show you something pretty nice. Now, not how we get in this effect now, okay? Let's say we want to go really cartoony and create a really cartoony light effect and really nice cartoony look to this. So what we'll have to do is we'd have to go and, well, we can leave that light there, but it's pretty simple. All we do is click on create lights and click on skylight. Now you can place this skylight literally anywhere you want, so I'm just going to place it here. Just leave it there. It just represents a skylight. Now I'll put the skylight in there. If I click on see it, click on render, you will see that instantly we're getting this cartoonish look. Can you see that? Looks pretty cool. What you can do is you can change the settings here. You can actually use the sky, you can use the environment, or you can use the sky here, so you can actually make it a bit green, let's say. And if you want to if you don't want to cast the shadows, you can simply click on this Omnilight, delete it. Then you can just use your skylight. Now skylight, I doubt you get any shadows, so let's just test that out. You're just gonna use the actual skylight. You're just gonna get the skylight shadows, which is something like that, and it's pretty cartoony and very nice. You can always add more lights to this, so you can use a skylight with, let's say we use a target, direct target. Oops, went a bit crazy there. So let's say we use yeah, direct target, whatever, and just target it to the boxes like that. And let's say we I'm not going to play around with the settings of this, so I'm just going to go to the modifier again. I'm just going to go straight down to the shadow parameters and put the atmosphere on, and light effect, shadow color. So let's just try render that now. So you can see I'm starting to get some interesting results here. Can't see the shadows really well, so we need to play around with that. Shadows on. Okay, now we should see the shadow of the actual cube in there. So now we're starting to get pretty interesting results, and that's what you need to do. You need to play around with the lights, you know, and you can actually change the colors of the lights. So if you go down, okay, or up, you can actually change the color and make this light red, let's say. So watch this. What we're gonna get is we're gonna get this different spotlight coming in at a red beam, giving us this nice red color, and you can see it's already the animation is starting to look a bit different. I mean, the animation, the models, you can see how that light affects that. It's pretty nice. So that's lights for you guys, 3ds Max lights. The photometric lights is what we use if we want to get more photometric lights, but we're not going to go into that yet, because if we do choose that, okay, we just put in a, let's say, photometric int target. Photometric lights work a bit different than the actual normal lights. Let's just delete that and this. The actual photometric lights work a bit different. If you render that, we just put in a normal photometric light. Check that out, it goes all white. Okay, and the reason is photometric lights have got much higher intensity and stuff, so they work differently, and you need to use different atmospheres and stuff for this. So you actually have got the color here, and you can see you got like fluorescent cool white, so we can put it in, but then we can play around with the settings here. So let's say we just put that in and click on render. This is what we're gonna get, and it's actually because we need to change things and stuff, but I won't go into this in this tutorial. I'll show you more on it in the other tutorial, which will be called we'll do a separate tutorial just for photometric lights somewhere near the end of the old tutorials. It's very good photometric lights, but just stick with the standard lights when you're starting off. And you can even I've seen a lot of people use standard lights until they get really good, and then they go to V-Ray or different lights and stuff. But this is it. This is the part on lights in 3ds Max. You can see how easy it is to create lights. There are different lights you can play around with, like Mr. Area Spot, which is like another spotlight, you know, and works something like the spotlight, but it's more of like an area spotlight, so you can just put it anywhere you want, and it just works the same as a spotlight. But don't forget that we changed the settings of the scene, therefore we have to actually change the settings. And you can see that if I press 8, I have got something up here called photometric exposure control, because it's set to because it's set here to active. What you need to do is if you click 8, and then let's see, if we use it, if you are going to use the photometric light and you press 8, okay, I'm just going to tell you this. If you press 8 on your keyboard, you go to Mr. Photometric Exposure Control. You can actually play around with your exposure control right here on how much light you want for that photometric light, and that's all there is to it, really, playing with the photometric lights. And now you can see that we're using photometric lights with not going crazy with the intensity, and that's it really. You have different settings, like different photometric settings on the side here, but you need to play around with the actual settings. So you need to, you know, take down the intensity and stuff. So like the burns, how much do you want it to burn, mid-tones. You can play around with loads and loads of crazy settings. Look at that. And you can actually add an atmosphere to the stuff, so you can add like a fog or whatever you want, but I'm not gonna add any atmosphere. But yeah, that's it for the photometric anyway. So I will do more, cover on it more. Let's say I'm gonna create like a house or something and use this and then show you how it works. But you have got like a lighting, outdoor lighting, nighttime, indoor, daytime. And then what we can do is we can actually play around with the settings, you know, until we reach that nice and smooth look that we want for the daytime. Not the best when I'm rushing, but yeah, you have to play around with it to get that nice effect. We might want to add a bit more gamma and stuff to it, but that's it. If you do click on, let's say if you do click on this Mr. Photometric exposure when you put it in, and you don't, and then you want to go switch back to the normal, all you have to do is just disable it and then go to no exposure control, and then you should just delete the light and it should work. If not, sometimes you have to export the model and stuff, which does go a bit crazy. But if you just delete all the lights and render it, you should be back where you started. Yep, like this, and you can continue off where you was. So this is Path 3D Tutorials. We just covered simple lights in 3ds Max. I showed you how effective the lights can be, and now that we've done the lights, let's go to the next tutorial, which is basic camera setup. Hey, let's go to the cameras, guys, and I can mark this one off now. So let's go to the next tutorial. Peace out.